The next one, all of y'all should know. The next witness. What's the next witness? Is Deuteronomy chapter 8, right? Deuteronomy chapter 8. Watch this. That's the easy one. Deuteronomy chapter 8. This is a story of our fathers. Notice again, Deuteronomy chapter 8. I'm going to read from verse 1. I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 6, from 1 to 6. Deuteronomy chapter 8, 1 to 6. Again, second witness of how we'll be sustained when we are fleeing from the four corners of the earth and they're trying to kill us. How we'll be sustained. Notice. All the commandments, verse 1, all the commandments which I command thee this day ye shall observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy Most High led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou would keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh doth man live. Watch this now. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Yahweh thy Most High chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy Most High, to walk in his ways and to fear him. So when we're fleeing, Yah's going to use that time to cause us to, we're going to cast off all the remnant of Babylon that we have within us. Because all of us, you're born and raised in Babylon. You're born and raised in captivity. So once you are kicked out of your place and you're in the wilderness and you have to trust it, and that's why right now he's causing us, he's teaching us individually to learn to trust him, to trust our God, and to obey his commandments, which shows our trust in him. And we obey his commandments by the spirit of righteousness, which he places within us. Okay, he said he's going to put his spirit in us and cause us to walk in his statutes, and we shall keep his judgments and do them. That's by his spirit. We wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. That is the Father's spirit of righteousness dwelling in us that causes us to be obedient. And he's going to purge from us all the earthliness of Babylon. And we're going to trust in him for the bread and the water like our fathers did. The water came out of rocks and the bread came from heaven. And they got just what they needed on a daily basis, just like us. We're going to dwell in the munitions of rocks and mountains. We're going to be in deserts. We're going to be in jungles. And the beast will not hurt us. He's not going to have the beast hurt us. Just like our fathers. When our fathers were disobedient, he allowed the snakes to bite them. But when they were obedient, no beast messed with them. See? And we're going to be obedient at the time because we'll have his seal in our foreheads. But we'll be fleeing from the four corners of the earth into wilderness. He's going to protect us. We are the remnant. Okay. So we see, as he took our fathers out of Egypt, and he said, the next time, you're not going to say we're taking you out of Egypt. We're going to take you from the four corners of the earth. So we're not going to be together as a nation until Messiah comes, when he bring us together and we'll be on a sea of glass, and he's going to take us to the kingdom. And when he gets there, let's look at Edom. Isaiah chapter 35 and in the beginning of 36. Okay, look at a couple of things regarding Edom. Okay, Edom. Chapter 35 of Isaiah is only 10 verses. And I'm going to read into chapter 36. No, I'm sorry. No, I meant chapter 63. Chapter 63. Chapter 63. Yes, I'm sorry. Chapter 63. See, I don't take notes beforehand. So most I just leave me. But chapter 63 is what I'm talking about. Okay, watch this. Yes, chapter 63. Okay. Chapter 63. Watch chapter 63. And I got other witnesses also aside from this. Watch what it says here. Who is this that cometh from Edom and died with garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. So he's talking about Edom. See, he says Edom and Bozrah, and he says he's going to trample them, stomp them out, and there's going to be blood on him from trampling them. That's Messiah. Okay, that's also Revelation chapter 14, but we're not going there. That's Revelation 14 where it says the blood goes to the horses' bridles without the city. Same thing. But wait a minute. We got more. Let's look at Edom some more. Let's look at Edom some more. Ezekiel chapter 36. Ezekiel chapter 36. Notice what it says, Ezekiel chapter 36. This is going to show you who Edom is. First, you're going to see he's going to stomp them. Now, again, I told you, it's not all the Edom, and I'm going to show you the ones that's not going to be stomped from the word. But wait, let's look at the ones that's going to be stomped, and where are they? Ezekiel chapter 36. Okay, Ezekiel 36. Let's see. Oh, man, do I want to read 35? Yeah, I'm going to start at chapter 35. I'm going to read down into chapter 36 to verse 5. Okay, watch closely. Chapter 35 of Ezekiel into chapter 36 of Ezekiel to verse 5. Okay, watch. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me saying, watch, son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. Mount Seir is Edom. And prophesy against it. And say unto it, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know I am Yahweh. Because thou hast had perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel. So that it is Edomites that have shed the blood of the children of Israel and have had a hatred of Israelites. By the force of the sword and in the time of their calamity, once we have been scattered, in our calamity, they hated us. Let's continue. In time of their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. I will fill his mountains with the slain men, and thy hills and thy valleys and all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Don't sound like they're escaping Yah. They might escape Rome, but they're not escaping Yah. How is this a safe place? Wait a minute. I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Because thou hast said, these two nations, these two countries shall be mine, I will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High Yahweh, I'll even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them, which I have when I have judged thee, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid waste and they are given to us. The Edomites are saying that the mountains of Israel are given to them. Keep that in mind. Thus, with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. And thus saith the Most High Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate. Thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate. So will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate on Mount Seir, and all Edomir, that's the Edomites, even all of it, and they shall know that I'm Yahweh. So this sounds like he's the enemy. In chapter 63, we already read, he's going to stomp them. So this cannot be a safe place. So when it says you escape in Daniel 11, it's not because it's a safe place. Let's continue. Also, thou son of man, prophecy with thy mouth unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Chapter 36 now. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, because the enemy has said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, because they have made you desolate, that's us, and swallowed you up on every side, that's us, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, that's us, because they did these things, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers and are in infamy of the people, that's us. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Most High Yahweh. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and a derision unto the residue of the heathen that are round about. Watch verse 5. Watch this. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Edomir. This is the Edomites, which have appointed my land unto their possession, with the joy of all their heart and with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. So whoever the Edomites are, they are appointed his land for their possession. Who today have appointed the land of Israel for their possession? That's Edom. And who's with them? Edom and Ammon, and the chief of the children of Moab, and chief of the children of Ammon, Jordan, because they said, we recognize you as a nation. These are not safe places. They're going to be stomped out, destroyed. He said, they're taking my land. Wait a minute. Where's more? Obadiah. Just in case you didn't understand that the Edomites are Ashkenaz, watch this. Obadiah, which is only one chapter. Watch what it says about the Edomites in Obadiah. Watch what it says about them and tell me who is it describing. See, that's what the Bible does. It describes something. It gives you place and time and type, and then you just look at it and you can say, oh, there's only one people. In other words, the Israelites are people that went into slavery with chains around their neck by ship who look like ancient Egyptians. There's only one group of people that fits. The great whore of Rome, the beast power, it comes out of Rome. It has a religious little horn led by one man. It's worldwide in its influence, and it's also a government. There's only one. Okay, so Edomites took his land, were complicit in the destruction and reduction of his people. Okay, and let's see what it says here. Obadiah. I'm gonna read verse 1 and 2. It says it all. This is like a fourth witness I'm giving. Right, watch. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, talking about Edom, I have made thee small among the heathen and greatly despised. Worldwide, there's only about 5 out of 7 billion people on planet Earth. Less than 1% of them, less than 1% are Ashkenaz. I have made thee small among the heathen and greatly despised. Among the sons of Yafet that are the most despised, I think everybody will agree, it's the Ashkenazis. Did not Hitler try to destroy them? Are not they international bankers? All the leaders of the Federal Reserve Bank and the Rothschilds, those are Ashkenaz. I've made thee small among the heathen and greatly despised. And it says in verse 3, their habitation is on high. Spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what Judaism is. Kabbalah, magic. So Edomites are on the land. They're going to be stomped to death by the Messiah. And we already know that he's going to take the kingdom and the New Jerusalem is going to set there. He's going to destroy everything that's there. Okay? So no, it's not a safe place. It's not where you want to be. Okay. Now, remember I said it's not all Edom? Okay. Let's look at Amos. Amos. Yeah, Amos is a good one. All right, watch Amos, because Amos is going to tell us a lot here. Where do I want to start? I think I want to start right here in chapter 9. Yeah, I'm going to start in chapter 9. Amos chapter 9. Watch this. Yeah, Amos chapter 9. Yes, okay. Watch this. Amos chapter 9, Again, I'm going to start at verse 9. I'm going to start at verse 9, and I'm going to read down to verse 13. Verse 15. From verse 9 to 15. Watch this. Talks about Edom here also, right? Watch this. For lo, I will command and I will visit the house of Israel among all nations. See, because we're scattered. I will visit them among all nations. Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess who? The remnant of Edom. And all the heathen which are called by my name. See, there's going to be a remnant of the heathen that are called by Yah's name. Some of them are going to be servants, like in Isaiah 14. Some of them are going to represent nations, like Revelation chapter 21 tells us. So not all of them are going to be lost, but those on his land are going to be destroyed. We already read that. He's going to stomp them out. But there's going to be some that are not there. Some that are repentant, that are called by my name, said the Most High Yahweh that doeth this. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reap, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. And the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel, and they shall build waste cities and inhabit them, and shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, said the Most High Yahweh. So you can see, not all Edom is going to be destroyed, but one that is going to be destroyed is on the land. They're going to be stomped out by Messiah, that are on the state of Israel right now, that are trying to misrepresent his chosen people and misrepresent the Most High. As the synagogue of Satan is going to be destroyed. But now all the Edomites are in that situation. Why? Because listen, you got Edomites that are Ashkenaz, and you also got Edomites of the seed of Esau that are still in the Middle East. They're still in places like Yemen and Saudi Arabia. So obviously not all Edomites are in one place. And not all of them are sons of Yafet. The reason the Edomites that are there, that Ashkenazis are called Edomites, is not necessarily their bloodline, it's their belief, that Kabbalah. And they call it Judaism. The Edom, like King Herod. But then there are those that are in the southern part of the world, as far as the so-called Middle East, like I said, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, different nations there they're now servants in those places. They're Arabs. They might even be Muslim. They might come to the truth and be saved. See, he said they're called by his name. Okay? But don't think because Daniel 11 says these three escaped that you should live in Jordan. It's a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place. It's not a place that you're going to be safe in. Okay. The only reason they escape out of his hand is because they are with him. That is the king of the north. That's why. Okay. Let's go back to Daniel chapter 11 now. Let's go back to Daniel chapter 11. I'm going to start at verse 41. And I'm going to read down into chapter 12 from verse 41, chapter 11, because the word chapter 12, because, you know, the translators put the chapters and verses in to make it easier for us to follow along as to where we are in the scriptures. And obviously, so we know verse and chapter, where we want to go, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes, like when they put chapter 12 in, it's not really a division. Most of us take it like, oh, this is a new thought. This is a new situation. No, sometimes it's one thought, like chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 10 are one. They're one. Okay, they're divided by those words 10, 11, and 12, but they're one. And so when we're coming from chapter 11, verse 41, and going down in chapter 12, it's one. It's not one thought, one situation. Okay, watch. And he shall enter also into the glorious land, and many, and the word countries here is supplied. Not all supply words should be there. This is one. Many shall be overthrown in the glorious land. The glorious land is always Israel. So he's telling us the king of the north shall enter into the nation of Israel, and many shall be overthrown. Are not the Palestinians and the Sephardim being overthrown? There are Ethiopian Hebrews that are committing suicide because of how they're being treated in Israel. Do you know that the Israelis are trying to sterilize the Ethiopian and Sudanese Hebrews that came there? Trying to sterilize them. They're making their lives so miserable. Go look it up for yourself, because we're not supposed to be there. When Messiah comes, he's going to stomp them out. We're going to take it. But until then, we don't need to be there. Okay? Watch. He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand. Edom, Moab, and chief of the children of Ammon. He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. He shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. The Ethiopians and the Libyans shall be at his steps. That's just simply saying Rome is controlling all commerce, all things of value. Why do you think they strip Africa of all its valuable gold and silver and diamonds, platinum? That's by Rome. Sons of Yafet, Gog and Magog, Caucasians. That's why it says this. They take all that stuff. Okay? But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. That's the loud crowd, 144,000. Whenever the Most High talks about the return of the Messiah or his position, he's always using two directions, east and north. I'll show you an example of that. It's in Amos. We kind of know this scripture, but most people don't pay attention to the directions. Let's take a look in the book of Amos, chapter 8. Y'all heard this before. Amos 8, 11, and 12. We'll come right back to Daniel. Amos 8, 11, and 12. Watch the directions, though. Behold, the days come, said the Most High Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Watch this. And they shall wander from sea to sea, from the north even to the east. Because that represents the directions from which Yah's word comes. Messiah said he's coming out of the east. Yah says, my throne is in the sides of the north. See, that represents the direction from which Yah's spirit comes, east and north, right? He said, they shall, from the north to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, but shall not find it. That's why it says here in Daniel 11, tidings out of the east and the north shall trouble the king of the north, shall trouble the papal church. Why? Because it's the loud cries, it's the final message of the 144,000 that represents the message that's coming out of the east and the north. It's a spiritual thing. It's not literally the direction, but it's the representation of the Most High. Okay? He shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. Well, he's already done that. And some say he's gonna rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. Okay, maybe he will. I'm not disputing that. But that does not change the fact that it's going to be stomped out. Okay? Verse 1 of chapter 12. And at that time shall Mikael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. Who are the children of Daniel's people? Us. We are the children of Daniel's people. Daniel's people are Israelites of the southern kingdom of Judah. We are their children. And Mikael is going to stand up. Where is he going to stand up? He's our high priest. He sits at the right hand of Yah, interceding for us. When he stands up, intercession is finished, and he's about to return. Mikael shall stand up. We're here right now. Which standeth, he's telling Daniel, for the children of thy people. This, by the way, Daniel 10, 11, and 12 is Gabriel talking to Daniel. All three of these chapters, when you read chapter 10 carefully, you will see all three of these chapters are Gabriel giving a message from the Father, which came through Messiah to Daniel. And that's why he's talking to Daniel right here. Gabriel is saying to Daniel, at that time shall Mikael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, Daniel. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that is found written in the book. Why is it like that? A time of trouble such as never was? A couple of reasons. We already mentioned one. We're scattered, and we're fleeing from our places of scattering, and they're after us to kill us. We are not getting any support from earth. None. Yah is supplying bread and water for us. He's causing our clothes not to get old, our feet not to swell. He's protecting us from wild beasts. He's protecting us in the wilderness. But they're still coming after us, and we're still going to be on the move like our fathers were. That's number one problem. Also, our Satan well knows at this time the jig is up. There's no more intercessor. Everybody is sealed permanently. He that is just, he's going to remain just. He that is righteous, he's going to remain righteous. He that is holy is going to remain holy, but he that is filthy is going to remain filthy. Everybody's fixed at that point, as far as the people that are living on this side of planet Earth, fixed. Therefore, it's going to be, Satan will have complete control of all the people who are not sealed in the foreheads with Yah's spirit. Complete control. And he will understand what it means. It's the end. And he's going to be desperate to kill us. Will be provided for. We're not going to be sitting around. And our only thought, our only concern is what it is now, or what it should be, that we bring glory to our Father. That's our only concern. Let me show you how some of us are going to be taken into the wilderness. Genesis, look at Genesis, back in Abraham's time. Genesis chapter 18. Genesis chapter 18, yes. Genesis chapter 19. The two angels that came to visit Lot. Genesis chapter 19. Now we know two angels came in, and we know that the people of Sodom wanted to rape them. Okay. Now let's take it up from there. The two angels speak to Lot. Let's take a look at it. Genesis chapter 19. Let's see, from verse 12. I'm going to go from verse 12. From verse 12 down to verse 17. From verse 12 to 17, watch. And the men said unto Lot, hast thou, these are the two angels talking to Lot, hast thou any here besides, son-in-law, or thy sons, or thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahweh, and Yahweh has sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and brought, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, and Yahweh being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass when they brought them forth abroad that he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. So the angels end up taking them out, just like us. You don't have to worry about when the proper time is to flee. You'll be led by the Father. He led Lot. He led the children of Israel. When the cloud rose up, they marched. When the cloud set and come down into the tabernacle, they stayed. The Most High will always lead his people by his spirit, and will be sealed in his spirit. So we'll be in tune with him. He will guide us where we're supposed to go, when and where. You don't have to worry about those things. Our only concern, yes, we'll be escaping for our life. They'll be wanting to kill us. It'll be natural for us. But the Most High will cause us to flee. He will cause us to do that, because we don't mind dying for him. But when we are fleeing, we'll be led by the Father's Spirit. There'll be no more intercessor. We'll be standing before the Father with his spirit sealed upon us, without an intercessor, because Messiah will be on his way back, and will be without sin. That's why it's the time of trouble such as never was. The only person that stood on the earth as a man with no intercessor was Messiah. The only one. We're going to be like that. That's why the 144,000 stand on Mount Zion with Messiah, having stood before the Father with no intercessor and without sin. That's why it calls us the first fruits unto Yah, into the Lamb. And in their mouth there was no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yah, without sin, sealed in righteousness. That's why right now, brothers and sisters, there's nothing more important than receive Father's righteousness on a daily basis in preparation for this seal. He will guide us in truth. We may not all be on the same page right now. That's not the big concern. The big concern is for us to be on the same page with our Father and to bring glory to his name in our obedience to his word, according to our understanding that his Spirit give us, which we're not all on the same rate, in the same place in the path. We're on the same path, but not in the same place in the path. Okay? This is where we are, and we're on the verge right now. You can see we're scattered. They're killing brothers right now. You can see that. The awakening is already going on right now. You can see that. And it doesn't take anything for them to shut off right now every bank account you have, every check you have, every ability you have to make any money. They could do it right now. But the Father has said, hold the winds until my servants are sealed in their foreheads. So no, Edom, Moab, and Ammon are not safe places to be. The nation of Jordan is not a safe place. And of course, people thinking they're running like those people that went out to Dimona. It is not a safe place. And there are horror stories coming out of Dimona. Because we're not supposed to be there. May Yah have mercy on those that are in those places. May they awaken and may his Spirit guide them to where he wants them to be according to his will. And may all of us under the sound of my voice receive the seal of righteousness and be prepared to stand before the Son of Man.